Welcome to the last session at Connect Virtual 2020. I'm Erica Bagby, and you're watching the new normal. Networking is the foundation for current and post-COVID-19 operations. I know all of you watching are well aware of how the new normal has altered how you operate in your day-to-day lives. I mean, you just attended a 2-day virtual event. Congratulations. But what about the operations of an organization? Their business models, workflows, and service delivery methods. Every industry has showcased resiliency through adaptability, innovation through creativity, and scalability through connectivity. The common thread enabling resiliency, innovation, and scalability for education, healthcare, manufacturing, and so many more is technology. Peeling back the layers of technical innovation, advancing us all forward, lies the foundational component, the network. Today's business operations require technology now more than ever to be infused into workflows that create agile work environments, automation and orchestration. Why? For operational efficiencies and scalability. But that is no secret to any one of us living in the digital age, as we all are. The difference is how the network is being leveraged to infuse technology into operations versus augmenting operational workflows. In other words, do you have a smartphone to dial just a number? Or are you maximizing its full capability for return on investment? Visualize work as a 5-lane highway. Roll with me for a moment. You have your HOV lane, your toll roads, your service roads, the on-ramp, and so on. But what's on the network highway? End users, BYOD, applications, IoT cloud services, and networking devices. The network is paving the way to the future of the new standards of operations across every industry, connecting remote workers, distributed branch offices, temporary work locations, pop-up storefronts, home offices, oil fields, construction sites, distribution centers, and the list goes on. The point is, work happens everywhere. We require pervasive, secure connectivity and accessibility to data regularly. Organizations need more control and better insights. So what should you expect from your network? More insights, more control, effective scale, dependable and secure architecture, and a 4th-generation cloud designed with best-of-breed cloud principles. All right, so let's stop briefly and think for a moment. Is there any part of what you do at work or in your personal life that doesn't involve technology to some degree? Communicating with colleagues, sending a message, executing on job functions, joining a meeting, tracking progress, accessing data, learning new skills. We are distributed, mobile in our workforce and in our day-to-day life, and most everything that we touch or interact with is connected to the network. The key to successfully leveraging the network for current and post-COVID-19 operations is what you're doing with all of those touch points on the network. You see all of these little dots connecting in these buildings. This represents all of those touch points. Are you extracting the data from these touch points and getting the information in the right hands at the right time to make informed decisions? The network is the common foundation capable of collecting data points from all touch points interacting and communicating across locations, devices, people, and things. But you can't manage or gain insights from what you don't see. The digital age we live in didn't happen overnight. We've been progressing to this state for decades, beginning with networks designed for use cases of yesterday. So what did we do? We've stacked layers of complexity with each phase of digital transformation, with scarcity of technical resources, multiple management layers with limited scalability. To achieve new heights with flexibility in operational workflows and business models driven by informed data insights, we must collapse the complex network paradigm designed for antiquated use cases and adopt centralized cloud management for distributed people, applications, locations, devices, and things. So, Extreme Cloud IQ connects a unified infrastructure and collects the network touchpoints to produce intelligent insights derived from analytics using machine learning and artificial intelligence. Going back to that highway analogy, I know we all love so much, we now have the infrastructure in place. The traffic's flowing across the lanes, no traffic jams, or maybe there are, because we need the services that dictate the speed, the priority, and the security of that traffic. Today's demands require organizations to be flexible and agile, to pivot when they need to, and scale on demand, deliver services anywhere. Complexity and overburdened systems won't cut it. Your network has to be simple, smart, and secure. Going beyond simple connectivity of the network infrastructure, services must also be integrated into the network operations for the new standards of our digital age. Otherwise, the complexity of multiple management systems with varying deployment requirements stitched together creates challenges for consistent service delivery of applications and security. But I've talked about all the data that can be extracted and how it empowers organizations. But another critical layer to future-proof networks is how you access the data and what data is available and accessible. Extreme Cloud IQ collects on average 6 terabytes of data daily across the entire data sets of the network, accessible from a single pane of glass and system. View Client and Network 360 views, comparative analytics for industry trends, and cloud networking telemetry for customized received data input from API-driven client and network telemetry that's most relevant to you. Accessibility is great, but what about the data availability? What if it's unavailable? What good would it be to you? To look forward, you need to be able to look back. So we offer unmatched 90-day and unlimited data horizons. 90-day and unlimited data horizons provide historical reference that empowers the intelligent, informed decisions and predictions that you need to survive, innovate, and thrive in the digital age of post-COVID-19 operations. Today's distributed networks are not a one-size-fits-all. This is where flexibility plays a critical role as you prepare to answer for today's use cases. Remember that one thing is for certain, and that is change. Your network should offer flexibility without forcing disparate architectures with minimal compatibility, from the ease of adoption with the industry's only free cloud management license tier in Extreme Cloud IQ to a single cloud SKU that's portable between devices. Licensing has never been simpler than it is in Extreme Cloud IQ. Universal hardware makes the cloud infrastructure devices agnostic, deployment agnostic, private, public, or on-premise, and cloud agnostic. Choose your cloud platform. Have it your way. Azure, AWS, Google Cloud, or your own cloud. And I feel obliged to say that have it your way is definitely Burger King's theme there, so not taking that. But the point is, you have the choice to choose. So now I'm going to spend a little bit of time breaking down the attributes of Extreme's cloud-driven, effortless, distributed networking. And this is where we really get into how we enable our customers, you all, to meet the demands of an evolving digital era. By its very definition, distributed in an IT context, well, that means that services, computing, processing, and data are spread across different locations. Most of you watching are likely attending from home or in a branch campus, a building, or some other remote location. And when we have windshield time, let's be honest, we might be in a meeting, safely of course. When we're in the coffee shop, we're connecting to our apps, to our emails, to our IMs. So what am I getting at? Simplicity is required not only for ease of adoption, device onboarding, provisioning, monitoring, and management, but also ease of network security and application service delivery to the end users and the devices that are on your network, interacting with your network. Think about how you manage the network devices today. Better yet, IoT devices, BYOD, company managed devices. Simplicity requires visibility of the entire data sets, not just a segment of it. Who, what, when, where, and why, with the ability to extend services seamlessly across a distributed network environment. Speed of service delivery and feature velocity, another attribute that stays ahead of the trends and supports not only the use cases of today, but also of tomorrow. But not all clouds are created equal. Directly attributing to the speed of innovation is our continuous integration and delivery with microservices, a key pillar of how cloud applications are designed. Cloudifying our portfolio means they are cloud natively becoming integrated as microservices, removing the limitations of monolithic applications, turning them into loosely coupled services that can be enhanced and updated in record time, which means new features to keep up with all those new demands and use cases that we're facing on a regular basis. Open APIs, third attribute. For accessible data and insights and actions, you have to consider the entire ecosystem of your technology provider environment. What about the business operations and partners that you work with? Integrating those data insights across those various platforms and ecosystems that you leverage today are very critical to make sure that you are gaining the most relevant insights to your business and KPIs. And scale. To achieve scale without limitations with dynamic resource pools and containerized microservices in Extreme Cloud architecture. Extreme Cloud networking services are mobilized because the applications operate independently of the underlying operating system. No matter the platform or deployment method, the customer has the freedom of cloud platforms. Prefer Azure over AWS? No problem. Require flexibility in deployment? Local, public, private, or a combination of? No problem. Require flexibility and consistency of services for simplicity and visibility despite deployment methods? Also no problem. And cluster compute designs ensure dynamic capacity and resource allocation of cloud networking services. Within each cluster, the microservices and containers are modular and allow for multiple services to be spun up instantly, on demand, scale up or down, for optimal redundancy, multi-tenancy, load balancing of resources, and high resiliency. Translation: customer deployments can scale up or down on demand with 100% uptime. All right, well, let's not forget about security. An integral component of Extreme Cloud IQ ensures the highest levels of regulations and compliance and data privacy are met. The Extreme Cloud architecture is ISO 27001 certified and offers security services that enable ease of policy extension and device posturing. Cloud services and features like cloud configuration groups, enabling a single network global policy with per location policy customization, cloud network access control, private client groups for simple Wi-Fi segmentation, isolated per room network while operating across a single SSID. Of course, I would be amiss if I didn't illuminate the stealth attributes of Fabric Connect that will be integrated into Extreme Cloud IQ and elevate an already superior Fabric architecture to the next level. Make sure you definitely check out the sessions on Fabric Connect to learn all the new exciting enhancements available now and coming this year. With Fabric IoT, the network segmentation are automatically isolated into the appropriate virtual service network, or VSN. It's providing an end-to-end encapsulation of traffic across the network. It isolates critical applications, information of users, and with no IP in the core of the Fabric architectures, hackers can't hop from one compromised segment to the next. You can't enumerate or you can't hack what you can't enumerate. For network peripheral devices, Fabric Attach automates the segmentation of service mappings to an isolated VSN. And finally, savings. Of course, we all want savings. Savings comes from the flexible deployment options, the simple licensing tiers, and reduced operational expenses that make distributed management attainable. No truck rolls, forget about long change windows, turn up services quickly, and extend the network seamlessly. All right, let's face it. This year has been a pressure cooker that has accelerated the adoption of digital transformation. Post-COVID-19 operations require agile work environments, IoT monitoring and robotic automation, and the ability to trace user behavior, movement, and location with detailed visibility. So let's double click on agile working solutions. The most obvious sign that we all require agile working solutions was the abrupt shift to working from home. Not a new concept, but the scale of employees working from home in industries that never had the demand or operational flexibility to work from home challenged even the best of data centers. Prime example, education, healthcare, and manufacturing. Post-COVID workflows within education to keep students engaged, learning, and thriving require administrators to support new environments and use cases. Services readily available on campus are not guaranteed at home. IT has had to offer mobile Wi-Fi connectivity for students at their home, with the schools sending buses parked in the neighborhoods and parking lots. Creativity for IT services so that students and staff can continue to operate has inspired creative approaches toward flexible learning models, where students can attend the same class in person or online, turning the classroom digital. IT administrators are supporting so much more diverse environments, methods of access, and new technology trends in and out of the classroom. Healthcare services has pivoted to adopt telemedicine, temporary testing facilities, and remote medical imaging, just to name a few. But what's happening inside of the hospital? Repurposed space outfitted with technology to reduce human touch points. Clinical staff digital workflows, and video calls for patients to connect with their families. Manufacturing, typically an air-gapped environment, but not right now. They have a new urgency for Industry 4.0 implementations in the plant operations, shifting a good portion of plant employees to work from home with remote access into the manufacturing systems. What about IoT? Well, IoT is probably one of the top priorities today and onward that we need to be considering in the post-COVID-19 operations. Consider this. In 2018, there were 7 billion IoT devices. In 2019, it jumped to 26.66 billion active IoT devices. Every second, there are 127 new IoT devices connecting to the web. This year alone, experts estimate the installation of 31 billion IoT devices, 35 billion by 2021, and 75 billion by 2025. I would say it's safe to say that IoT devices have officially surpassed the number of humans on this earth. Industrial IoT is also critical for manufacturing and industrial environments to orchestrate historically siloed data sources to streamline new workflows and enable better accessibility. The carpeted space in manufacturing and OT systems are integrated for data sharing and consumption with industrial IoT. Robotic automation. It's transforming precision surgery to a new level of accuracy and capabilities, scaling medical experts beyond the borders of the hospital walls to reach people across the globe. And on that note, think about the implications robotics will have in medical programs for education. Educators must consider how the curriculums will incorporate technology to enable students to graduate with skill sets relevant for a digital age. The new normal puts technology trends at the center of non-technical career fields, such as teachers and doctors, causing them to dramatically accelerate technology adoption in their day-to-day lives, more than they ever expected to. So ensuring success in today's new standards of operations requires IT administrators to empathetically consider the workflows of the end users and the stress levels that it may incur to make such shifts abruptly into this digital age of adoption. There needs to be a bridge between IT and OT and users to enhance communication and teamwork. In the Agile working environment or in IoT monitoring and automation, it's fundamentally changing these workflows. Another area, contact tracing. Who, what, when, where, and why. This is the information that you can gain from the network when you're considering solutions like contact tracing. There's the community level where you have the applications from providers like Google and Apple. But there's the area where you can really control what you're capturing from data insights perspective on the network. Working as a community doesn't mean we have to give our GPS coordinates away. At the campus level, leverage the network touch points that keep us all connected to allow us to communicate better with each other in the case that someone has been exposed. And in the case of occupancy management, you're looking at all of the data touch points again, feeding information to education institutions, manufacturing environments, healthcare environments that are looking to keep employees safe and that want to identify how they're managing their space within the confines of the walls that they're operating in. You cannot track, congregating areas of people. You can't associate users and devices and identify who's accessing those devices, who's connected where, how long are they dwelling there, or integrate any of these data points into a notification app that helps streamline the response to potential occupancy management hazards within all of these environments, retail, hospitality, restaurant locations. All of this requires input from the data. Otherwise, we're looking at standing at a door manually with a clipboard and checking boxes every time someone walks by. Not exactly scalable. To reach efficient flows of operations, whether it's occupancy management or it's contact tracing use cases, digital classrooms, flexible learning, industrial IoT workflows, streamlining the production lines and the use cases, how the employees communicate and work with each other within the plant. The use cases go on and on and on. But the point is that in a post-COVID-19 operations world, the network attributes that would ensure and enable success require availability, 100% uptime, so that you can scale and deliver services across a global workforce, across a distributed networking environment, for your students to connect and engage and learn, for your teachers to be able to teach their lessons, go through their curriculums, and engage with their students to make sure that they're capturing the content and that their performance is maintained at a high level. Or it's about keeping operations going as usual for retailers, for hospitality, healthcare environments, moving to telemedicine, adopting new streamlines of operations to engage with their consumer base. Availability is key. Durability. With over 1 million bits of data stored per day, we could be capturing all of these touch points, all of the data points that's being generated just on our activity alone on the network. So making sure that the durability of the network is precise, accurate, and capturing those data inputs, very important in this post-COVID-19 operations. And of course, duration. What's the point in capturing all that data if you can't view it? It's like if I want to see historical trends over the last year and I only have access to the last 30 days, it's missing a lot of gaps in the data or creating a lot of gaps in the data that limit the visibility to look forward based on predictions of the trends that we've seen rising over time. The data collects those points because there's nothing we do that doesn't interact with the network, very rare at least. So duration of data so that we can look back and predict the likely outcomes with informed decisions for your business will be very important in today's operations and onward. And lastly, security. We have increased touch points all over the network. We have IoT that has surpassed the number of human bodies on the earth. But all of that is great when it inspires creativity and inspires the mobility and accessibility to data and allows us to execute on our job functions from wherever we are. But at the risk of breaching security protocols, of compromising private data, secure data, right? The HIPAA compliance of the world, PCI information, personal PPI information. Security must be an integral part of your operations within the network in order to ensure that while convenience is adopted, security is maintained. So, as you go through your plans and adjustments to return to life as usual, to return as business as usual, and speed up and ramp up those operations to supply the demand that's been created with all of us taking these abrupt shifts, consuming services differently. Remember, the key points to being successful in a post COVID-19 operations means that you are leveraging the data that is collected by the network, infusing technology, tech trends in each of these industries and how they're applying technology into their workflows to create new outcomes, new experiences, and a better tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your time here at Connect, and make sure you don't forget to check out the entertainment hour because we got a lot of great stuff coming for you.